Greetings, citizens of the world. This is Anonymous. We address you today in response to the recent implementation of the Online Safety Act in the United Kingdom. Let us be clear, this legislation was never about protecting people. It is a calculated attack on freedom, cloaked in the language of safety. Under the guise of protecting citizens and combating harmful content, the UK government is quietly erecting a digital censorship regime. The recent statement suggesting the Labour Party could consider banning virtual private networks after a sharp rise in VPN downloads only confirms what we already know. This is not about safety, it is about control. Banning VPNs means removing one of the last lines of defense that individuals have in regards to preserving privacy in the digital world. The state is now attempting to dictate how you access the internet while demanding identification for basic digital interactions. This is a clear move to silence dissent, monitor thought, and erode freedoms under the illusion of public interest. When the people seek privacy, the government calls it subversion. When the people seek anonymity, the government calls it a threat. We will fight this. We will resist every attempt to normalize mass censorship. The internet was built on the principles of openness, innovation, and freedom, not submission to authoritarian oversight. The Online Safety Act represents a dangerous precedent, one that could be replicated in other nations if left unchallenged. If they silence one voice, they silence all. If they ban encryption, they ban privacy. This is a war on digital autonomy. We see what is happening, and so should you. Freedom of expression is not a luxury, it is a right. We are anonymous. Expect us.
In the last few hours, public frustration has grown significantly following the announcement that the United Kingdom government, under the Labour Party, may consider banning virtual private networks. This development comes on the heels of the implementation of the Online Safety Act, a controversial piece of legislation that has already stirred widespread concern. The mere suggestion of restricting VPN usage has only deepened existing anxieties about online privacy, surveillance, and digital freedom. Many people have turned to VPNs as a necessary tool to maintain privacy and regain access to online content that has become restricted due to the new regulations. Since the Online Safety Act took effect, VPN downloads have surged, highlighting a clear public response. Users are unwilling to sacrifice their digital autonomy. VPNs provide not only privacy, but also protection from tracking and data collection. For countless individuals, especially those who work online, access educational resources, or participate in global conversations, VPNs have become essential. The notion of banning such a tool has been met with immediate backlash. Critics argue that rather than addressing the root problems with the legislation, the government appears to be doubling down on control. Many view the potential ban as an overreach, one that risks alienating the public and setting a dangerous precedent. The move is seen not as a step towards safety, but toward increased surveillance and restriction. As frustration mounts, it is clear that trust in the government's handling of online rights is diminishing. Citizens are calling for transparency, technological understanding, and a digital future where privacy is respected, not penalized. Across the United Kingdom, a growing number of citizens have come to believe that the Online Safety Act is not the protective digital measure it was originally promoted to be. Instead, many argue it has become a restrictive force, complicating the way people access and interact with the internet. While the legislation was introduced under the premise of safeguarding individuals from harmful online content and creating a safer digital space, its real-world effects have raised widespread concern. Rather than fostering a more secure environment, the Act has led to new limitations and barriers that many feel undermine personal freedom and online accessibility. Initially presented as a positive step toward internet safety, the Online Safety Act has resulted in tightened controls over information flow. Rather than promoting openness, it seems to have constructed boundaries around knowledge and access. For many users, the experience is less about safety and more about being cut off from important content. The unintended consequence is a digital environment where individuals must navigate more rules and surrender more personal data simply to view content that was once freely available. One of the most controversial aspects of the new rules is the requirement for users to verify their age through personal identification to access content labeled for mature audiences. While this might seem like a minor inconvenience, the implications are far more serious. In many cases, the restricted content includes material related to current events, political discourse, social activism, or educational resources. Users who value their privacy or who are cautious about sharing personal details online are finding themselves locked out of important conversations and information. These concerns are not abstract. They are grounded in real risks that come with submitting personal data online. Data breaches remain a persistent issue across industries, and even some of the most powerful companies in the world have experienced security failures. When sensitive identification data is compromised, individuals may face long-lasting consequences ranging from financial harm to personal vulnerability. Given these realities, it is understandable that many citizens are hesitant to provide such information to platforms that cannot offer absolute guarantees of protection. What troubles many is the idea that in order to access certain content, particularly content related to news, education, and public awareness, one must first offer up their private identity. This requirement shifts the internet away from being a space of open inquiry and transforms it into one where access is conditioned upon exposure. To many, this feels less like a step towards safety and more like a retreat from digital freedom. The frustration among users is compounded by the belief that those who designed and implemented these regulations lack a thorough understanding of the technology and communities they aim to control. The modern internet is complex, fast-moving, and deeply integrated with privacy-preserving tools. Among the most widely used of these tools is the Virtual Private Network, or VPN. By using a VPN, individuals can mask their true location and regain access to content restricted by geographical filters. This common method of bypassing restrictions highlights the technical flaws in the enforcement of the Act. The effectiveness of VPNs in circumventing the legislation's controls reveals a deeper issue. The Online Safety Act may be fundamentally unfit for the modern digital landscape. Policymakers were warned by technical experts during the law's drafting phase that these systems could be easily bypassed and that the trade-offs in user privacy would be significant. Despite these warnings, the Act was passed, and now the public is experiencing the very outcomes that were predicted. As these problems unfold, public confidence in the law is eroding. Many are beginning to suspect that the Act was never truly about protection. Instead, there is a growing belief that the legislation serves more to regulate speech and access than to genuinely safeguard users. The timing of its implementation has only fueled this suspicion. The introduction of the law coincided with a wave of protests across the United Kingdom, yet digital coverage of these events was noticeably absent for users who had not verified their age. Unable to view videos, images, or discussions related to these protests, these users were effectively removed from witnessing a key moment in national discourse. This dynamic has painted a troubling picture, one not of digital safety, but of selective visibility. Those who refuse to submit their personal data are increasingly cut off from public conversations and current events. The result is a growing sense that voices are being quieted not through direct suppression, but by strategic restriction. If access to information is limited based on compliance with invasive procedures, then the internet becomes less of a public square and more of a monitored, conditional platform. Freedom of speech and the right to access information are foundational elements of democratic societies. When those rights are tied to personal exposure and identification, they begin to lose their integrity. Many people across the United Kingdom are beginning to fear that core democratic principles are being quietly weakened under the banner of safety. Worryingly, this model of regulation may not remain isolated to the United Kingdom. Reports have emerged of lawmakers in other countries considering similar legislation, citing the Online Safety Act as a potential template. This has caused concern among digital rights advocates around the world. If other nations begin to adopt similar restrictions, the collective openness of the internet could diminish, shifting toward a more controlled and compliant version of what it was originally meant to be. The true danger lies in how easily such legislation can be normalized. Once privacy is treated as a luxury and not a right, once access to knowledge requires personal sacrifice, the nature of the internet changes in ways that are difficult to reverse. The international community should pay close attention to what is unfolding in the United Kingdom, not as a success story, but as a cautionary example of what can happen when safety is used as a justification for control. To create a truly safe online environment, solutions must be based on transparency, strong technological foundations, and most importantly, respect for individual rights. Real safety does not come at the cost of privacy. It does not ask people to trade anonymity for access, and it should never prevent citizens from witnessing or participating in important public events. The implementation of the Online Safety Act has shown that even well-intentioned legislation can lead to unintended consequences. It has restricted access, increased risks to privacy, and given rise to distrust in public institutions. If digital safety is to be achieved, it must be through thoughtful policy, ongoing dialogue with experts, and unwavering commitment to the rights of the people it claims to protect. The internet is a shared space, and it should remain free, fair, and open to all. In recent years, the collective known as Anonymous has transcended its origins as a loose association of internet activists to become a symbol of global dissent and secrecy. While traditionally associated with cyber activism and political hacktivism, Anonymous has recently turned its attention to a seemingly different realm: mysterious weather phenomena. This shift has raised eyebrows and sparked speculation about the group's motives and the nature of these phenomena themselves. One of the notable instances where Anonymous addressed mysterious weather phenomena was in a series of cryptic messages posted on various online platforms. These messages hinted at unusual weather patterns occurring globally, ranging from sudden, unexplained temperature fluctuations to bizarre cloud formations, and even reports of localized storms appearing out of nowhere. An odd weather anomaly that was photographed over Bosnia and Herzegovina was the subject of one of their most recent posts. Oddly enough, the person who uploaded it claimed that it is very difficult to locate pictures of it online. The user said that hundreds of individuals had sent the incident to websites that look into unexplained weather anomalies when it originally happened. However, the user claimed that doing a reverse image search now yields nothing, leading them to speculate that an unusual occurrence may be occurring. Those who follow weather apps have been posting odd anomalies like this one lately. One anonymous user stated they are attempting to compile a photo book with all of the images, as many of them are disappearing off the internet. To produce forecasts and real-time updates, weather applications rely on a sophisticated network of data sources, such as satellites, weather stations, and numerical weather prediction models. These sources collect enormous volumes of meteorological data, which are then processed and analyzed by highly skilled algorithms to generate weather forecasts and visualizations that are available to people all over the world. Currently, there are a number of intriguing theories put up by anonymous members and investigators into why these anomalies are occurring. These theories include solar activity that is mysterious, experiments, and unidentified items. These claims were accompanied by purported satellite images and eyewitness accounts, although their authenticity remained uncertain. The choice of topic was striking, as it diverged from Anonymous's typical focus on socio-political issues. Instead of targeting specific entities or advocating for particular causes, Anonymous seemed intent on drawing attention to what they described as anomalies in the Earth's atmosphere. One theory that has been proposed is that this location is the subject of an experiment being carried out above, which is being concealed because it wasn't discovered until the very last minute. An anonymous user speculated that the experiment, which the weather app had discovered, might have been a military cover-up. The military may decide to conceal or delay this information, at least temporarily, for a number of reasons, even if the first instinct may be to notify the public and organize emergency response activities. First, evaluating the potential impact of these anomalies on national security and strategic interests would be the first priority for military leaders in such a scenario. The nature, scope, and composition of the events could provide a variety of risks, ranging from potential interruptions in communication and transportation networks to physical harm to military sites and vital infrastructure. Armed forces would need to learn as much as they could about the anomalies and prospective impact zones in order to create a response strategy that would be effective and reduce any hazards. Military officials may give strategic considerations, such protecting important individuals, assets, and capabilities, priority over public notification in a situation like this. The sudden appearance of this mysterious meteorological phenomenon caught experts' attention on a number of digital sites. Current satellite imagery has captured an incredible occurrence where this huge object appears to be fanned out above the area. Many who have seen these images are perplexed by the sudden development seen in the photos, which has sparked discussion and conjecture about the underlying reasons and scientific theories for this extraordinary event. The rapid arrival and disappearance of these enormous objects, together with the puzzling dark emptiness that followed, have left many puzzled, pushing the limits of reason and leaving people in search of explanations. Because of its peculiar nature, this strange object intrigued meteorologists and spectators, igniting questions about the dynamics and unpredictable nature of weather systems. After the photographs started vanishing from the internet, the unusual event generated a lot of interest, with many asking where the images went and why they had suddenly disappeared. Users responded in a variety of ways, expressing how surprised and confused they were by the occurrence, especially given that the site uses satellite data. The incident sparked a great deal of interest and conjecture within the internet community, in addition to captivating the audience, and the addition of satellite data complicated the picture and sparked investigations and debates over the puzzling discovery. A more thorough examination of the elements that led to this event's precipitation is warranted given the intricacy of the phenomenon and the questions it raises about the interplay of local weather systems. In addition to providing insight into the atmospheric phenomena at play, a thorough investigation of the incident's underlying causes is also encouraged.
Scientists don't know why hundreds of birds are getting sick. Birds are a crucial part of the world's natural ecosystem. Without them, much would be lost. Now, scientists are racing to figure out why they are falling sick en masse to stop a potential tragedy from unraveling. In the Midwest and southern regions of the United States, birds are passing away and falling sick at alarming rates, with no explicit explanation. An estimated 7 states are affected. Blue jays, European starlings, and grackles are among those most affected by the mysterious disease spreading through the bird world. According to avian biologist Kate Stankard of the Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife Resources, we are experiencing an unusual amount of bird mortality this year. We have yet to figure out what the problem is. The condition seems to be pretty deadly. The sickly birds are found with puffy eyes, often crusted over with pus, and many suffer from seizures and suffer from an inability to stay balanced. Biologists who have examined the birds claim that they act blind even when they have perfectly healthy eyesight and are mentally or instinctively lacking. For example, they cease to fly away when approached, a common avian behavior that ensures their safety. This suggests the sickness removes a bird's self-preservation instincts, making it susceptible to external dangers. In Stankard's words, the birds often sit still, often kind of shaking. Stankard asserts that hundreds of birds across the United States are struggling with the mysterious illness and emphasizes the problem is no longer a minuscule one, but a nationwide issue which worsens each year. Biologists across America promise that they are doing all they can to uncover the cause of this phenomenon. A multi-state research group has formed in an attempt to research the sickness further and hopefully discover a cure to administer into the wild. Even when a cure is found, there is some speculation about how one might get it out into the ecosystem safely. Investigating the issue is time-consuming, requiring samples to be analyzed several times during lab tests to obtain definitive results, and often come back inconclusive. Theories have arisen as to what might have caused the illness. Wildlife biologist Laura Kearns poses that pesticides might be causing this widespread avian pandemic, and suggests she has heard other people claim a heightened population of cicadas are to blame. Pesticides have been known to negatively impact not only the insects they are made for, but larger ecosystems because mammals and birds feed on poisoned insects, causing the toxicity to affect them. This is not helped by the fact that many pesticides are outlawed in various countries around the world for their extreme toxicity. According to Kearns, in Ohio alone, hundreds of birds have been found, all perishing from the same cause, the unknown sickness. Despite the initial belief that the sickness was a return of the infamous avian influenza, all tests to prove this have come back negative. This illness is something entirely new, and scientists are unprepared. Sick birds from Kentucky have since been sent for analysis at the University of Georgia to be tested
by the Southeastern Cooperative Wildlife Disease Study. New Mexican wildlife biologists have also begun reporting abrupt avian fatalities and a shocking decline in their populations. By now, the total avian population loss across America might have reached far beyond 100,000. Unusual animal behavior preceding the 2011 Japan earthquake. Earthquakes are terrifying. As all forces of nature, they destroy all in their wake and can cause many casualties, not to mention millions, if not billions of dollars worth of damaged property. Yet, to add to their terror, animals have been spotted behaving in mysterious ways when earthquakes are about to occur. It's long been known that animals sense oncoming natural disasters, and some scientists believe animal behavior can be analyzed to predict when and where such earthquakes might happen, as it's difficult to predict natural disasters. The specifics as to how these animals know danger is coming or why are not yet definitively known. In 2011, on March 11th, a terrible earthquake took place in Japan and gave researchers much insight into the phenomenon. An estimated 20,000 people perished or disappeared that day, highlighting it as a dark day in Japanese history. Researchers investigated animal behavior prior to the earthquake, and their questionnaires uncovered that several hundred pet owners in the region experienced strange behavioral patterns in their animals before the disaster. Cat and dog owners were questioned respectively, and 351 out of 1,962 pets were reported to behave strangely. The odd behaviors included increased restlessness, a factor linking all the cases. Cows were also investigated, and research revealed that cows yielded less milk the closer they were to the earthquake's epicenter a week before the earthquake occurred. The fact that animal behaviors were a minority and not a majority brings some doubt to the idea that animal instincts can be used to predict earthquakes, but researchers believe that the project shows promise. Whereas the cow's milk yield fell the week leading up to the natural disaster, the cats and dogs behaved agitated and restless on the day of or the day before the earthquake. Owners reported symptoms of biting owners, panic, barking loudly, hiding, climbing high trees, meowing pathetically, and taking kittens outside. In 1995, a similar study was conducted in Japan before the Great Hanshin earthquake. In that report, over half of the pet owners declared strange animal behaviors. Mice in Kobe, one of the cities affected by the earthquake, began fleeing the region en masse the day before. The same thing happened with birds and insect populations, though they fled an estimated hour before the earthquake. It's believed that because animals, dogs and cats especially, can hear sounds inaudible to humans and feel frequencies, they are aware of incoming disasters. Animals have been found to be more sensitive to the natural world regarding changes in the atmosphere and gravity. It's speculated that earthquakes possess physical attributes, such as the release of carbon monoxide and ultra-low frequencies which alert animals to brewing trouble. Scientists discover a continent that had been missing for 375 years. Continents are massive. It might come as a surprise then that scientists recently found a brand new continent hidden away for hundreds of years. A group of geoscientists uncovered the continent of Zealandia, known in the Maori tongue as Turua Maui. The continent has been recorded but seemingly faded from history books. The continent is believed to have been connected to Gondwana, a supercontinent that existed an estimated 500 million years ago and encompassed a massive portion of both Australia and Antarctica. The very first mention of the continent in the Western world comes from Abel Tasman, a Dutch merchant and sailor from 1642. Tasman remarked his desire to find a mysterious Great Southern Continent in hopes of etching his name into history, a task he struggled with. He had a conflict with the Maori, but was informed by the tribes that a giant landmass resided in the east. Despite Tasman's endless travels, he never uncovered the mythic Great Southern Continent. In 2017, that changed. At some point in history, billions of years ago, the continent tore away from the supercontinent of Gondwana for reasons yet unknown by scientists. At long last, 375 years after Tasman's journey, the continent was finally found.
There has been speculation surrounding the mysterious and fabled Zealandia long before its finding. Only now do scientists agree in its existence, all those millions of years ago. Most of Zealandia is flooded, the murky depths concealing it all this time. Yet once the underwater landmass was investigated, it led scientists to wonder why they had not realized its existence sooner. Currently, researchers are trying to etch the history of Zealandia onto paper, to map its existence, its separation from Gondwana, and its downfall into the endless oceanic depths. According to scholar Nick Mortimer, if you think about it, every continent on the planet has different countries on it, but there are only 3 territories on Zealandia. The continent's strangeness adds to its scientific and geological appeal. Our world is a bizarre place, so we can never truly know what lurks in the skies or beneath the waves.